Well, good morning and welcome in to St John's College for this first streamed coverage at the Mel Young Memorial Invitational. An opportunity to bring you some schools basketball in this crazy, crazy year that we have here in 2020. And I know, having already caught up with Kenny McFadden and a few of the players around the gym this morning, that they are just delighted to have some basketball to play. Of course, usual plans around national championships and trying to take titles thrown into absolute chaos with this global pandemic called COVID-19, which continues to wreak havoc around the world. Wherever you're watching, we hope that you are safe and well. To the parents, the families, the friends of these players, a delight to be able to bring you this coverage and let you know just how they're getting on. We're watching the final preparations as Scots College and Mana College get ready to go to battle here this morning. Alongside me is a man known to many in these parts and of course has an illustrious coaching career, not the least of which with New Zealand 3x3 teams. Joins us now Anthony Corbin. Anthony, nice to be in your neck of the woods, mate. This is just great, isn't it, to have some basketball?
It certainly is, Andrew, and look, great to see you, mate, and I hope everything's going well with yourself and everyone involved in our sport of choice, which is basketball. This would be tournament week.
Yeah.
Starting today, obviously, we have, this event, the Mel Young Classic, started yesterday here in Hamilton. Today, down in Palmerston North, we have a similar event for the secondary school girls from zones 2 and 3, and starting over in Te Araha is the single A event. So look, we're alive, we're kicking, we're involved in our sport of choice, and it's going to give these young men an opportunity to play at a higher level compared to what they've had to encounter with COVID so far in 2020.
Yeah, and I can tell you we're rugged up as well because it's a nice brisk morning this morning. A beautiful day outside, but it is a little bit brisk this morning as we get ready for this one. Let's have a look at the two lineups, the two teams here, and we start with Mana. Mana College can confirm that Wiremu is not lining up today, so you can take Wiremu off that list. But a couple of key players to look out for, Kawhuru Hippolyte in the tournament team at the 2019 Chic A Championship, and likewise Levi Ware, likely to be two of the leading players for Mana College who have made the trip up from the Kapiti Coast Mana region. Randall Bishop is coaching Mana College. Let's have a look at Scots College. And their lineup, of course, coached by no less than Kenny McFadden. Who do you like here in this lineup? They've got a couple of players as well that have been involved. Ezekiel Stallworth at the FIBA Oceania 2019 tournament. Who else do you know here?
Yeah, thanks there, Andrew. Like Ezekiel, I've seen him play. One of those players, he looks good with ball in hand. Appears to have plenty of time. They've got some height. They had a very good game against St John's last night, and this is going to be a crunch game because the winner of this is really going to jockey through to be that second team and hopefully a semi-final appearance tonight.
And Tafara Gapare, look for him as well, current member of the New Zealand under-17 side. So just quickly recapping as you've said, Anthony, these two teams for Mana College, first up lost to St John's, 68-98. Then they had a very close win last night, 80-78 over New Plymouth Boys. And for Scots College, they had a comfortable win over New Plymouth Boys, 114-86. And they went down to St John's, 74-87. So based almost purely on those numbers, it does stack up as a likely race for second place in the group.
Well, Andrew, it's going to be interesting. You know, both sets of coaches were guards back in their day playing sports, so it's going to be a very guard-orientated game.
Well, there's a bit of excitement straight away to get the small crowd in attendance, but certainly the bench up and running. Scots College.
Nothing like a slam dunk to start a game, is there?
Oh, and it's that man we mentioned as well, Gapare, rangy figure that he is, and already Kenny McFadden has clearly said to his boys on the bench, we need some energy, we need some noise, create a bit of atmosphere. It is early in the morning.
8 seconds on the shot clock, and it's a baseline play.
Into the paint and then kicking it back outside, looking for the three ball. Rebound, Gapare.
There's good transition defense, stopped the ball and forced Scots into a half-court game.
And they do just settle down now, looking for movement around the perimeter. looking for an opportunity. And it is Haka who just puts the little teardrop up there, but not enough on it.
Andrew, you got a lot of the energy from Scots, a 9 a.m. game. You and I feeling it a little bit in this lovely Waikato weather in the morning, but they've come out with a lot of intent and purpose.
Well, and yeah, teenagers, 9 o'clock, getting them ready to go. But they will be well keyed up. Attack, attack, attack is the call, and Haka does that, misses the layup though. Certainly the intent is very clear that in that transition offense, they're looking to try and make Mana pay.
Nice shot.
From the elbow, a little bit too much on it though, on that occasion from Hippolyte. Kaforu Hippolyte, as we mentioned in the tournament team at the 2019 Chic A Championship, so look for him wearing 7 for Mana. Kapade, kick it back outside. Stallworth.
Mana just packing that keyhole, forcing Scots to shoot from the outside.
And they force them into a tough shot too,
yeah.
So good D. Salmon brings it down court for Mana. And they're on the board. The basket is good.
Just picking up early in this game, Andrew. We're just seeing Mana just applying no full court pressure and allowing Scots to walk up opportunity to attack their zone D. So obviously they're just backing their half court D and forcing Scots to shoot from the perimeter.
Be interesting to see if they do change that up at all, but you're right, it's been clearly their defensive approach to this point in the game, as the basket is good for Levi Ware. This is going to be a challenge here, I think, for Scots to work this out. And on the last couple of attempts down the floor, they've just lost their way a little bit.
Yeah, Scott, the big with the elbow catch there, he's got a nice jump shot. She just turned around and shot it, or shot fake and driven, but they're trying to work their zone offense and force a better shot.
3 ball, nice and it's good. That was beautiful. Nothing but net on that occasion for Levi Ware, so he's starting to heat up on this cold morning. And Mana College, after taking 2 or 3 attempts to find the basket, they now skip out to a 7-2 lead.
High post catch again. He's kicking it back out. I just thought he might want to turn around and challenge the defense. Nice.
That's better, eh? Drive, draw some contact, get the defense engaged.
Trying some pressure up the floor, Scots.
Another 3 ball attempt. This one hits the front of the rim from Nathaniel Salmon. Good open look though. So tactically, and this is great for schools basketball, and both teams are well mentored, well looked after, with the respective coaches, Randall Bishop and Kenny McFadden, doing a great job. But this is what it's all about, getting a look at different defense and figuring out how to break it down. That's a pretty good example of it, isn't it?
It is. Obviously, you know, for Mana, the downer player, as you touched upon before the game, so with the shorter bench, they're having to, you know, go to their zone to cover their smaller depth on the bench.
After both teams struggled early, we've now seen a flurry of scoring. That time Nathaniel Salmon was able to get inside, and his size proved too much. Well, shoot from outside, Will Scots hits the front of the iron.
Scots there going to that middle on ball against the zone just to create a good look from the outside.
Oh, beautiful block, brilliant stuff. That certainly gets the bench up in celebration. Rufus Russome-Cobb, beautifully timed, coming from the weak side, and just it's the worst kind of block. The player does not see the player coming. They're happy to shoot the 3 ball, Mana. Equally, they're pretty happy. Looks very comfortable going to the rim, doesn't he, Salmon?
They do. Early energies with Mana. They're pushing the ball a lot, and some offensive rebounding opportunities, and they're getting to the rim. Scots
get another look at this. Shot clock is reset, they go back outside again. This is good. That's really well played. And I reckon Kenny McFadden would be delighted. They've started to go in, out, ball movement, but also player movement. Draw some contact, get that zone moving.
Yeah. Very well executed. As you touched upon, Andrew, they shifted the defence. The corner three, they turned it down and drove to the rim.
Foul was called on Levi Ware. And the and one is good from Russo and Cobb. Good start to this one, and what promises to be a really close game. Oh, a little work in the paint as well. Oh, misses that time, but love the footwork from Salmon. 3 ball, they can't get one to drop at the moment. Scots, will they have another go here? They go back inside. Gonna have to put it up soon. Shot clock down to 6. And they can't find the basket on the 3 ball, and eventually it is turned over, but given straight back by Mana.
Yeah, I just think Scots, you know, they've shown their hand, their ball movement's good, a little more patience, and shot selection. I mean, they've got the height advantage. They just need to really use it. They're going to their middle on ball. He split it, nice drive, went down the middle, and
Salmon with the block.
Yeah, unfortunately lost that argument.
Well, certainly these opening 6 minutes, coming up 7, have flown by. Very impressed with both sides here. As they look for the 3 again. Does look on occasion, though, as the foul is called against Mana here. We'll see who this is on, but the 3 ball called on 44, so for Manus with his first personal. I just wonder at the moment, I get the feeling, Anthony, the 3 ball is kind of not their preferred option at the moment, Scots. It looks to be, oh, well, I'll try one. You know, it doesn't seem to be in their game plan at the moment. They've got to figure out how to get to that paint like that.
Well, that's it. You know, this is their 3rd game. They played 2 games yesterday, so game fitness and shooting fitness is going to be an issue for all teams here. And you hit the nail on the head.
Whereas Mana, they look more than comfortable. They've spoken about it. They want to shoot the 3.
They do. That's how they want to light it up. But, I mean, for Scots, it's just going to be, they don't want to get drawn into this game. They want to play to their strength, which is their size and their ability to get the ball inside. And, again, another offensive rebound and a finish.
Yeah, and Dallas Clayton's made a huge impact.
He certainly has, and I think the key for Scots here is when they get that ball inside, they're drawing defenders and they get into the rim.
Andrew Dewhurst and Anthony Corbin with you, bringing you this coverage of the Mel Young Invitational here at St. John's in Hamilton. Salmon, he's causing a real nuisance, Salmon, but on that occasion, Scots come away with it. Capade, nice handles. Oh, great stuff from the big man. Oh, that is beautiful. Brilliant stuff. Clayton is the beneficiary, but that was beautiful, and it results in a timeout. Just showing what they can do on the fast break. If that transition D's not in place from Mana, Scots are going to hurt them, aren't they?
They are, and I think there's nothing more pleasing as a teammate, particularly in the men's game, to make that dish or the assist and see your teammate finish with a dunk. Scots, you know, hey, a lot of energy. 29 points in the first quarter, a lot, and it's really been a little bit of a shootout, hasn't it, between both teams to start this game.
So just wonderful, again, as we described, just wonderful to be talking some hoops and presenting some basketball coverage to everyone through our Sky Sport Next platform. And a beautiful day here in Hamilton, as you can see outside the gym. Beautiful sunshine. We'll be back in just a moment here at St. John's. Back from the timeout. You haven't missed anything, folks. as Mana College bring the ball down the floor. And again, that movement is just superb. And the finish from Fermanis, but that was really good penetration from Levi Ware, asking some questions and looking for the outlet. And that also is pretty effective. That may look like one-on-one basketball, but that's a good decision by Esa Hate.
It is. I mean, against a zone defense, if you're going to that middle on ball, you most probably, as a defensive unit, don't want that middle dribble drive and finish so easily, but that's just strength.
Scots College have enjoyed a good run here in the last 3 or 4 minutes, hence we saw that timeout from Mana. It's a rebound, keeps possession with Mana College. And again, Salmon is always there in the paint as an option for them. These guards that are cutting to the rim, they just need to glance and see the big figure of Nathaniel Salmon.
I think that last set was just a classic example of unselfish basketball from Mana. They made the extra pass, they got the ball to the corner, and they attacked the rim and made a very good assist.
Turnaround jumper comes up short. Esahade brings the ball down the floor for Scots. Looks up, again drives that lane, and again it's a good decision. Mana's going to have to make an adjustment here. That's too easy, and now they've turned it over, so it's Esahade really asking some questions of that Mana D. And I can see that Coach Randall Bishop wasn't happy with the ease with which he was getting to the rim.
Yeah, clearly a big work on that transition scenario, and the miss basket is to stop the ball. And particularly a player of his caliber and strength, you can't let him get that downhill momentum with ball in hand. With Mana straight back with a transition opportunity. They're certainly playing off a lot of energy, crashing the offensive glass. Again, a numbers advantage here. And a missed basket by Scots.
I'll tell you what though, Tafara Gapardo, when he gets airborne, goodness me, he's got some springs, as that boy has
he's got great length.
Oh, and for such a young man, I mean, he's going to grow into that frame of his, and he is going to be some talent. Inbounds play, and the 3 ball again on the way. That's a left-handed shooting of Kawhuru Hippolytes.
It's going to be interesting here, Scots. Are they going to run the game clock down with 20-odd seconds to go? They've got last possession, the shot clock's turned off. They're going to run the clock down for the last shot. Oh, no, they're not. They're taking an early 3.
Well, they get another look at it, and still they go straight to the hoop. They've got time. Kenny McFadden saying, put it back out, let's take the last shot. And now it may be Mana. Going to have to shoot from the half court. It'll count if it goes. It doesn't, off the rim. And it is a most entertaining first quarter. Scots College with the lead over Mana College. There's been some change in momentum already in this one, though. Very hard to pick. Essentially playing for second in this pool and a place in the semi-finals. First quarter, it is Scots College 21, Mana College 18.
Tukaha.
It means stand strong. To the great challenges we face. To stand strong with our brothers and sisters.
With our families and our communities.
With our supporters.
With those who lift us up to take on the world.
It's the name of our haka.
Tāringa whakarongo ki Aomori.
Stand strong.
Stand with us.
Tukaha, New Zealand.
Well, it is day 2. It's our first televised day, live streaming through skysportnext of the Mel Young Invitational. Kenny McFadden talking with his team. I was just delighted this morning with all that Kenny McFadden's been through. Well documented to just see that fella walking into the gym. Haven't seen him for a little while. Looks in pretty good health, and certainly a great basketball brain of his hard at work here with his Scots College team.
Always has a positive outlook on everything, and I think that's just rubbing off on his players. You know, it's been a very entertaining first quarter. I mean, Mana's work ethic around that rim. You know, if we were keeping stats, I'd like to know how many offensive rebounds, you know, they're getting for what is an undersized team. And they're certainly playing with, you know, with a lot of energy. They look very comfortable against Scots in the half court. So it's going to be really a interesting start to this next quarter to see what adjustments both teams have made.
Yeah, and question from me to you is what do they need to do to adjust, in particular, Mana, to try and stop Haka, who appeared to just have a free pass through to the rim in the last 3 or 4 minutes of that quarter.
Yeah, I just think they need to must probably discuss, here's this middle on ball there that they're going to a lot versus their zone, how best to defend that and to stop those dribble drive opportunities. Again, Mana pushing the ball in transition, and they like those jump shots. Randall's game was as a guard, and obviously he's passed that on to his players, and they're very comfortable in catch and shoot opportunities. They certainly won't die wondering if it's a good shot or not. Scots to that on ball again. Kick to the corner, relocation, and they've gone back to that same corner again.
I'm still not sure they've landed a 3-ball yet.
No, you know, game 3, but here's the reality of it. They're not shooting well from the 3-point line, but yet it's only a 1-point game.
And they are applying some pressure up the floor, Scott. So Mana, we've seen happy to sit back and get into their zone, but there's the rewards for those defensive efforts by Scots, with Mana turning it over. Storworth was at the FIBA Oceania tournament in 2019.
It's quite funny. His father actually played here for a season back in the 90s for what was called the Waikato Warriors as an import, Terry Storworth. So a little bit of a return back to an old town for Terry.
And it's yeah, certainly a family effort. Terry, assistant coach, and that is a nice basket on cue. Well done, nice Ezekiel. But and Midia Storworth is the manager of this team as well. So and, they've upped the ante, haven't they? Defensively, Scots, they're getting hands in, and Gapade goes and off the glass.
Just with his length, and Mana have gone to another timeout just to stop the game.
Okay, so timeout called, timeout. And so acknowledge our referees as well, doing a great job. These tournaments are not just opportunities for players and schools and coaches to get involved, but they are an opportunity for young referees to develop as well. So a shout out to the referees as we have a look in the huddle here of Scots. They're right next to us. I tell you what, if we just ease the headphones off a little bit, I reckon we'd just about hear every word that Kenny is sharing. We won't do that. We won't pry. But he'll be the happier of the two coaches, clearly. Randall Bishop was the coach that called the timeout. There is the Mana huddle. And they just need to make some adjustments. But they are just minor adjustments, aren't they? They've shown that they're well in this game and just need to try and ensure that Scots College don't go on a run of 8, 9, 10 unanswered points here and see the game slip away.
They just have to make that adjustment to defensively, that middle on ball and on those made baskets as counter. Scots now extending their defensive pressure and using the length of the young man up the floor. We've got a nice deflection there and got the run on and the finish. So, you know, again, it looks like they're applying their full court pressure.
Troy Nickel out there wearing 6 for Scots, and also Dallas Clayton back on the floor as well. We saw the impact he made, the big man.
Numbers advantage for Mana, and they turn the 3-ball down.
Which was interesting. They did have rebounding there. Salmon had taken up position under the hoop. And that was arguably the more difficult shot to take, but they got through and into their set, which is the main thing.
High post catch.
Back outside.
Yep, and they're looking for the corners. You've got to finish.
Yeah, foul call. And I think this will be on 25, Nathaniel Salmon, but let's wait for the official word. Referee approaching us now. If we stay there, we'll get the number. There we go. Confirmation.
Yeah, it's young Daniel Miller from actually a student here at St. John's who's refereeing this game this morning.
That's great stuff, isn't it? It really is. First personal for Salmon. And Stallworth on the line here. Shout out to all the parents and all the families of whānau around the country that have had to face all of this disruption, and a steal now, opportunity for Nickel, and he takes it. That's brilliant. They've really upped the ante here on D, have Scots. It's, just to finish my point, as a foul is called on Nickel here. Shout out to the whānau that might be watching around the country with all of the disruption. How tough has this year been? But they made sure that these kids have stayed focused. I'm sure they're doing their best with their schoolwork as well, and different times this year with perhaps remote learning. But just great to have the support of all of the families to have these young men here in Hamilton this week.
Yeah, and of course we've got our school bench people here today as well. We've taken time off work to ensure the teams don't have to bring additional. But it's really just about, you know, family supporting each other and their children. They're great. You know, they're working that high post well now, Scots. This is a big event. You know, a lot of these young men are craving that exposure with no international travel this year. Just to be able to A, play basketball, enjoy the game, and B, you know, compete against athletes from outside their zone. Point forward, bringing the ball up.
Mana have just, for the moment anyway, as Clayton battles away and gives away possession. They must score on the fast break here because they've struggled to break down the Scots D, and Gapardo gets back and rips down the rebound.
It's going to the rim.
And a little bit too much spice on that. Can't get it to drop. And it is Mana. A little bit scrappy at the moment. This one just losing shape momentarily.
It's just the last 2 or 3 possessions of, you know, a series of turnovers. Again, they're pushing game tempo. They may just wish to pull it out and go back to the half-court stuff. But this is the way they like to play the game. And as we all know with young men, good luck trying to tell them to do something that they prefer to follow their own tuition.
Foul is called on 7, Ezekiel Stallworth, second personal. Meanwhile, coming in for Mana, wearing 20 is Devonte Hunia. Here he is. And the 3 ball again. They need it to drop. They just...
Real swing, isn't it, in energy. Start of this quarter, Scots have come out with a real nice intent and burst at points, and it's just rattling Mana. Sub going in, didn't go through the bench, that's okay.
Kisby McLeod comes in for Scots College. With the breather is Ahmed Esahati.
Again, middle on ball for Scots, he's rejected it. Corner catch. Coming back up again for an on ball.
Almost inviting Gapardo to shoot the 3, and finally, is that their first triple?
I was just going to ask you that. I think it was. And again, off and on ball.
That score at the moment might be a concern to Mana. They need a decent little run here.
7 on the shot clock. He's going to have to force a shot here. Nice give and go action.
Well, it was good patience, but the bounce pass just a little too hot to handle, and Scots will turn it over. That was good shot clock management, though. The execution just let them down right at the end, but they stayed patient. And had that bounce pass been gathered in, they would have had a good look. Good shot right on the rim.
Good ball movement from Mana and the dish. Just got to finish.
Yeah, there's, missing the layup. That was, I was about to say, there's their best offensive outlet in Nathaniel Salmon. He's been so good And another triple on the way. They're in the mood now, but that one a little bit too much on it.
And kick ahead and pull this out.
Levi Ware.
Again, middle on ball.
Salmon, he'll want to get into the paint.
It's a nice drive.
Good D, stayed in front of the big man. Capade. Oh, that is such a familiar side, and like a gazelle. Just as soon as he attacks the basket, and almost exclusively from that right-hand side.
Yeah, he does like that, and as I'd say, enjoyable to watch unless you're coaching against him. It's most probably not a side you'd like to see, but Scots are on a roll. Okay, we've got communication.
I think the foul there was called on 12. Dallas Clayton, first personal. He takes a seat.
$15 on the shot clock.
Where?
Nice drive.
Oh, it's beautiful. Lovely footwork.
Smart, very smart playing.
That left calf muscle with the what often is just a preventative sock on there. May not be an injury concern so much, but we'll keep an eye on that. Some of these teams are already missing a couple of players, so they don't have the depth they would like. Here is Ware, and again that footwork doesn't quite get the basketball to the hoop, but Nathaniel Salmon puts it back.
It's just great work ethic around the basket, wasn't it, by the big to get in there and get that O-board and finish. And they're just hanging in there, Mana. It's only a 10-point game now.
Step back for the three. Doesn't go. And that makes them think about it even more. You miss one at one end and then just bringing the basketball down the floor. Stop, shoot, three. Thank you very much, Levi Ware. They can get a stop here. Another 2 stops, and that's a long triple.
Yes.
Another couple of stops here, Mana. Is that a foul? Not yet, it is, eventually. Eventually. He was trying to give the foul away, wasn't he? Hey, Russell Cobb.
Very subtly trying to stop the fast break opportunity. You know, I just think for Scots, they need to make that adjustment of, I guess, the consequence of a deep three in terms of floor balance and transition opportunities.
4th team foul on Scots. Where
Nice pass.
it was a good pass. A little bit too much on it, and perhaps also Hippolyte might have thought that Ware was actually going to go and lay that in. So always have those hands ready. You'd be telling them that as a coach, wouldn't you, Cords? Always be ready for the pass.
Guards get very upset if they pass you the ball and you can't catch it.
Great basket off the glass. It's Kisby McLeod. And again from outside, front of the rim. Issa Hardy.
It's getting to the rim.
And the foul. So basket and the and one. Called on Salmon.
They just subbed their big man out, Andrew, so he doesn't pick up a foul. It's a smart move by Kenny Mack.
Somehow Scots scramble the rebound.
That's just strength, brute strength. Get in the middle there.
Right on the baseline. We'll get another look at it here as well, this time from outside. Oh, that would have hurt Mana had that gone in. We're approaching the last minute of the second quarter. These are important moments for Mana. If they can get a 2-for-1 perhaps here and get a stop in the process, they can close this gap. It's certainly not insurmountable at 11, but they've turned the ball over.
Just over a minute to go, and it's got some possession. Again, Mana have just sunk back into their defense on the 3-point line. Scott's the middle on ball, a little slip action.
Good D.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And that's good D as well. He's out of court though on the second attempt. The block is good, but just at the second time, Russell Cobb there was just with a foot on the baseline.
Great hustle, got back, and we have to think of our PC term to say what he did with the attempted basket, but pushed over the sideline.
How about the bravery of this young man, Devontae Hunia? Oh, he's not the biggest frame out there, is he? But he's charging into the paint and just drawing some contact, and you love that from a guard. Ask questions of the defense.
Well, he's smart. He knows Scots are on the penalty, and every foul's 2 free throws, so he's attacking the rim, and he's rewarded for good work.
This is the first. Makes the second. 47 left on the game clock here. As I say, vital moments here. Keep it to single digits. Going to the halftime break, Mana, if you can. Get a stop and then run a play. Oh, good to hustle.
There's 10 on the shot clock.
Mana are still going to get another look at this, but Scots need to get a shot up now. Shot clock down to 3. Great D. 0.7 on the shot clock. This is great hustle from Mana.
I think we all heard that
Yeah,
directive,
I think
didn't
so.
we?
Yeah. Catch and shoot. That's all you've got time for. Shoot. Rims out on. Mana just went to sleep on the rebound, and Scots now can have the last shot. They did all the hard work, Mana. And now possession in the hands of Ezekiel Stallworth.
Middle on ball.
Some of the crowd counting it down. He's just going to pop and shoot here. The 3 ball, almost a dagger in the hearts of Mana, but it rims out, and they stay right in contention here. Scots College, who started a little bit slowly, but got into their work and then figured out this zone and found a way to get to the rim and finally landed a 3 ball as well. But they've got a 10-point lead over Mana College at halftime here in the first match this morning, first of 2 that we'll bring you this morning before another 2 matches later today at the Mel Young Memorial Invitational. It's Scots College 44, Mana College 34.
It's an exciting time right now for basketball in New Zealand. We're extremely grateful to have so many kids wanting to play the sport. Numbers are really booming, and particularly at the high school level, we have so many teams wanting to compete in our national championships. Where we're going is we'd like to improve our depth. We think we have some outstanding talent in our under 15 and under 17 age group. Now we want to see if we can actually grow those numbers and try to get players competing against one another. So as a country, we're going to become stronger and stronger. And the goal at the end of the day is to try to have some of our senior teams win gold medals at pinnacle events, world championships and Olympic Games, and for our junior teams to also be standing on a podium at the end of a world championship.
At these camps, we're able to learn from lots of different coaches that come from all around New Zealand. I'm able to make mistakes here and get lots of feedback and record it and take it back to my own representatives, coaches like in Wellington, and teach others what I've learned as well as take it in and adapt my game.
It's an honour to put on the black singlet. It means a lot, and it's a good accomplishment.
I think the camps are really good to attend because it's like coming into an environment where, one, you've got lots of really good coaches who really know what they're talking about, and you're with lots of other players who also play at such a high intensity level, so the skill at camps is also good.
All the people have different moves, so it's harder to defend as well, and it's just packed in tighter, so it's not easy to get into the paint. These camps are good to attend because you're playing against, you're going against the best players in New Zealand for your age group. Yeah, I have ambitions to become a tall black because it's just good to represent your country,
we're going to continue to invest. We're going to continue to focus on the junior development in our national camps, and we're just happy and grateful that we get so much support from the basketball community in New Zealand.
The culture of the Tall Ferns is absolutely amazing. We're essentially a family. I would call all of them my sisters. Our leadership, our coaches, our management staff, everyone, there's just such a good feel, and it feels like such a family and such a good vibe, and I think that's why on court you can see that we just all click and work together.
Basketball can open up so many doorways and so many paths. There's no limits. You can take the sport anywhere.
The women's game's definitely growing. I think it's awesome to see. Just in general, basketball growing in New Zealand is cool. So to get women and young girls playing basketball, that's a big key for us.
We're quite often the underdogs, you know, we're always a hustling team. We've always been a real grind it to the end team. Making the most of the moment is like a huge part of our culture.
Any international game that I get to play for the Tall Ferns is always an honour, but we play tough, we're very aggressive, we hustle for each other. Everything we do, we know we're doing for our teammates, that they've got our back, we've got theirs as well.
Young kids, just like in general, I think just whatever you set your mind to, like you can do whatever you want to do, you know? Like you just got to put them in the dedication and the determination to do it, and you can do it.
I think a good message to young girls is Te kaha, kia mai, kia manawanui. That just really means, you know, be strong, be fierce, and be mindful of others. You know, you've got your teammates next to you, and look after them, look after yourself, and just represent yourself with mana, with pride, as well as your country.
Well, welcome back into St John's College here in Hamilton for the playing of this Mel Young Memorial Tournament, so the Invitational. There are other tournaments to be played this year. They've managed to get some on the calendar with the Basketball New Zealand tournaments. The Aon Under-15 Nationals will be played here in Hamilton across Labour weekend, and also the Aon Under-17 Nationals will be played in Christchurch. So also across Labour weekend, and Sky Sport Next will have coverage of both those tournaments. For the moment though, our focus on this one, Mana College and Scots College, as these two teams really battling, and there is a triple to start. Oh, that hurts, doesn't it, when they've struggled to make one through the whole first half. They did make one, but Mana College immediately on the back foot. As the pull-up two is good from Jared Fermanis.
Yeah, Andrew, we just started again with a little bit of a shootout, a nice corner three by Scots, and again that mid-range from Mana, a turnover. It's going to get to the rim.
Pofare and good D, and the follow-up is good though. Always follow, always get there and pick up the pieces. Well done. Good work by Levi Ware. Now try again from outside.
Kick ahead, and a layup.
Well, they need those. They haven't had many cheap points.
Mana will come out with the energy, Andrew. You know, two quick buckets to counter that three.
Margin down to 7 as far as Mana's concerned. Still comfortable for Scots. Gapade, does he pull the trigger? He does, right in front of us, and that was never missing. Oh, that was beautiful. Salmon into the paint, that little floater, not enough on it.
The concern here for Mana has got to be the ease in which Scots are just getting that ball off the rim on the misses and getting down the floor.
Salmon should be too strong here, and they call for goaltending, saying it had hit the backboard already, but the referees say no. Certainly from our angle, couldn't see. The referee was right there, and that rubs it in even more. Stallworth.
Unfortunately for the two Mana College coaches, just the way that glass is behind the backboard. You know, it's very hard if you're trailing to be able to see what's happening.
Yeah, the referee was right there, so you've got to go with that call.
Exactly, 100% call.
And the block might have been Stallworth again, was it? And he wants to charge off down the floor. Is he going to go coast to coast? Is there some continuation there? Basket is good. Foul is called on 44, Jared Fermanus. So after an initial good minute or so from Mana, Scots have just blown this lead out a little bit again.
Andrew just goes back to something I learned a long time ago. You never win an intellectual debate with a referee during a game of basketball. They make the call, they stick with it, and I just think the Mana group got a little bit caught up with that call, and as a consequence, you know, Scots have jumped on them.
Salmon strong, but Clayton comes down with the board. Behind the back pass. Clayton doesn't have the handle though. And this is out of court baseline ball here for Mana. Let's see what the response is from the young men of Mana. What a beautiful part of the world that is as well. Nothing like a beautiful still day on that coastline. In fact, there's nothing like a rough weather day down there as well. It's pretty special. They are bossing the boards, aren't they, here, and getting their hands in. And then Dallas Clayton, goodness me, I'm really impressed with the big number 12.
A lot of energy. I just think for Mana, a little tired now, and Scots are just seizing this opportunity. They're pushing it. And out dribble. He's getting to the rim. Just got to keep playing.
That's the hustle. That's the hustle. Capade getting back on D, just sneaking up, picking the pocket there. I think it might have been Levi Ware. And now the 3 ball is well short. Mana possession. Well, suddenly, it seems blink of an eye, Anthony. It was 7 points a couple of minutes ago. And now out to 17. Scots College have opened this lead. Mana, they've got to refine this 3 ball form. That one bounces around and out from Fermanus.
Again, I just think the fatigue's starting to kick in with this Mana team. Here we go, we've got a 4-on-1.
Oh, hello, tried to get up high. You can't hang on that rim, and he knows it. There was a grin on the face as Russome Cobb came back down, knowing that he'd set up camp up there. He was almost there for the entire tournament week. But that was a bit of athleticism, a bit of fun as well.
Again, Scott's just extending that pressure up the floor.
Salmon does well, battling at the big bodies, giving up some height advantage, but I reckon he's got the weight advantage, those shoulders of his. Nathaniel Salmon, he'll go to the line. Big strong boy, isn't he? Second personal called on Clayton.
Yeah. And again, we're going to have to start thinking if you're Scots here, at what stage do you rest your group, because you've got a semi-final tonight. You know, you've built a 17-point lead. They've got to be wary though, because Mana are one of those teams that can go in those quick 6-point bursts, but at some stage there's going to have to be a little bit of game management for tonight's semi-final. Nice pass. Mana with a transition opportunity here, pulling up for the 3 ball.
They're just not dropping now, are they, Corbs? I mean, they were draining those threes in the opening quarter especially.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, if you live by it, you're also going to get hurt by it, and I think that's what we're just starting to see happen now. And Scots are just slowing that game, slowing it down on the half court on offense.
Rebound here, long rebound.
Nice pass.
To the hoop, a little bit out of control. Looking for the foul call, possibly not given. Ware for 3. Oh, thought about it on the bounce.
Again, you might want to just go and take that lid off that rim, I think, because Mana can't seem to buy a bucket at the moment. Two referees just give a quick conference here about whose possession it is. Scots.
So the semi-finals are tonight, 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Our two semi-finals, we'll have both of those covered live for you on Sky Sport Next, and then tomorrow morning, 3rd, 4th, as a triple does fall here.
Real swing in the outside shooting momentum at the start of this quarter, hasn't it? The Scots have come out and shot the ball particularly well. Nice split there with the defenders.
Well, it's just perfect guard play. The possession, the dribble, Levi Ware in control, takes two defenders out, drives to the hoop, and then dishes off to a teammate. Yeah, so just finishing on that draw tomorrow morning, 3rd, 4th at 9, and then the final of the Mel Young Invitational, as that shot initially rejected, but they find a way to get it through the bucket. Mana, final tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock.
Mana are not going to give up. They're going to keep running it at this bigger team, and they're just going to keep backing their transition game.
Yeah, and a good run, possession by possession. A good run here, and that's an aggressive block, isn't it, from Hippolyte?
2-on-1 scenario.
And down the other end of the floor, and they are playing with some energy. That one's put back in by Jared Fermanis, but it was Hippolyte at both ends of the floor doing great work.
Yes.
Almost stolen away. 3 ball on the way. Mana just enjoying a good little spell here. Where Paenga was waiting in the corner 3 spot. The possession didn't come his way. Oh, lovely play. Doesn't drop though. Everything about that was perfect until the basket just rolled off the rim. Is that Paenga now? Just too heavy on the attempted basket. If they can get one here, they are right back in this. Here they come, Mana College.
Now Scots resorting to the walk-up game. Not on a rush, controlling the game tempo. Side on ball.
11 points the margin. Initially from the corner, and then good patience, drives down that baseline. Stallworth.
Yeah, Stallworth, patience and the ability to take that contact and finish.
And a simple bucket, and suddenly they are getting simple layups, aren't they?
Yeah, just loosened up a little bit.
Scots, I wonder if they're getting a little weary as well. So if they can finish this quarter strongly, Mana, they're a chance to make a run at Scots in the final quarter.
Yeah. Ball stagnating a little bit. It's a wrap.
Foul called.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's continuation. I think this is called on the floor.
Yeah. Baseline.
Fermanis with the foul. Meanwhile, you see the number 12, the big figure of Dallas Clayton, check back in for Scots.
Running here, a little kill action. There it is in the corner. Nice shot. Well executed play by K-Mac.
Yeah, that's straight from the whiteboard to the hardwood. Levi Ware is looking to create some space for that left hand of his, but couldn't get the purchase off the glass.
No. Only his first personal foul. No, he's okay, watch that inbounds pass.
Paenga, it was Randall, the two brothers, Evan and Randall Paenga in this Mana side, but almost getting the steal. Step back 3, plenty of time. Clayton on the rebounds, too easy. Dallas Clayton.
It is just the ease of the step back and also having that big on the rim to get that offensive rebound. A little trap action that just created the turnover. And smart play by Mana. As was said previously, this quarter, a little momentum shift either way. But still, Scott's sitting on that 16-point lead.
Te Māori Pōwhare checks in for Mana.
Corner ball.
Well, I left him all alone, and he said, if you're going to do that, disrespect me, and I will hurt you. It was a beautiful shot. Randall Painga.
That's behind the back. Again, for Mana, they've had problems defending Stallworth off that on ball. Just his strength and ability to split it and get to the rim is creating problems.
Second personal for Painga puts Stallworth on the line. Pretty obvious what the nickname's going to be for Ezekiel. I can hear the teammates, just simple Z will do. Yeah. He's limping too, as Z, as he heads to the bench, so...
Just may want to get a little bit of ice on that.
That'll be a concern because they run a reasonably short roster, as in short on numbers. Scots College with McJorrow, Boyle, Tiatia and Burns all crossed out of this one. Final 30 seconds of the third. Still not really put away this one, Scots. Mana are hanging around and showing great commitment. And there's a good example of it. Nathaniel Salmon.
We've got the one shot. 10 on the shot clock.
Down to 5 seconds. 4.
Nice move.
Gapare. Oh, beautiful. He really played that with some conviction, didn't he? Just straight off the backboard and into the bucket, and that extends out to 15 at three-quarter time. Scots College, 71. Mana College, 56.
Means stand strong. To the great challenges we face, to stand strong with our brothers and sisters.
With our families and our communities.
With our supporters.
With those who lift us up to take on the world.
It's the name of our haka.
Tāringa whakarongo, kia ora.
Stand strong.
Stand with us.
Tukaha, New Zealand.
Welcome into St. John's and Hamilton here for the playing of the Mel Young Memorial Tournament. Corbs, for those that don't know the history of Mel Young and his engagement in the sports and with the community here, give us a little background.
Where do I start?
There's a whole lot of years to talk about, I think.
43 years a teacher at the school. Was on the executive of Basketball New Zealand for a number of years. Was actually a referee in the NBL and the head of the Referees Association. Started the basketball program here at St. John's College. When Church College was the powerhouse, and if you look back at the history of New Zealand secondary school basketball, Church College is the benchmark for excellence in secondary school basketball. 1987, St. John's qualified for their first secondary school national championship with Mel Young as the coach. And between 1987 and 2019, St. John's have only missed the tournament once.
Wow.
So Mel's history is extensive. He had the misfortune to be my teacher at school, my rugby coach, my cricket coach, family friend, taught my two older brothers. I had the honour and the privilege actually to share the most historical moment in New Zealand age group basketball history when in 2011 our New Zealand 3-on-3 team won the FIBA World Cup in Rimini in Italy, and Mel was the FIBA Youth Commissioner. So it was his honour and privilege to be a champion of secondary school and youth sport, to hand that World Championship over to the New Zealand team.
Wonderful,
so,
wonderful, and great to honour his name and his memory here at this tournament this week.
So I'm sure he'll be tickled pink watching this event, seeing these young men play and enjoy the sport, and seeing what has been a very up-tempo 9 a.m. game on a Thursday morning.
Yeah, certainly been getting the adrenaline flowing and the blood coursing through the veins here for these young men. First thing this morning, Scots in control, but Mana are just one good run away from getting back into this. Gapare uses that wingspan to his advantage. We're seeing some of the future stars of the sport, no doubt. So Clayton is putting himself right in the equation for MVP honours in this one. Is the number 12 for Scots. Hardly missed a look at the basket. 3 ball is good for Ware. They need a few more of those to drop as well.
Again, up-tempo start to this quarter. Teams getting up and down. We've only been going a minute, and it seems like, you know, that just the tempo of the game. Quick.
It's got to start at the defensive end, hasn't it, for Mana? If you're going to close a 14-point gap, you've got to get some stops. They get one there.
Well,
who's that come off?
We all had our hearts in our mouths for a little moment there when he did the splits. Luckily, no injury.
Yeah, talk about the wingspan. He showed extension of the knee joints there as well.
Again, on ball, just the read out of it. Post catch.
Foul is called.
Doing a smart job, Scots. They're really just, you know, off that on ball, hitting that wing, making the corner man come up, and then they've got a post catch. It's like watching a game of chess. When you watch this, unfortunate finish there, but they just got to give Mana a transition opportunity to get to the rim.
Ware, he's shooting the 3 and he's driving the lane, showing he's got the all-round game, Levi Ware.
And that energy from that Mana trail player getting in and crashing the rim in case it was a missed basket. So, you know, they're in here. It's a 12-point game.
Single figures. It's amazing what scoreboard pressure can do. They're comfortable at the moment, Scots, but if Mana can close it to single figures. Clayton, oh, well played, great block.
Again for Mana, they got that opportunity, spread the floor and play.
Kawharu Hippolyte with the block
nice
against
pass.
a much bigger man. Oh, and then miscommunication.
The intent was good. I mean, the post kick-out pass was first class. Again, they weren't punished from it, so they've got possession back.
I think Kenny McFadden wanted his side just to get into a set there. Wasn't overly thrilled with the quick attempt at the 3 ball. Salmon, right hands, too hard, foul is called. Painga, might be his 3rd, I think. 4th, in fact.
Yep, 4th personal.
6 coming in is Troy Nickel for Scots.
Just replacing high post catch. That's good. He's going to finish that.
Oh, wonderful block from Salmon. So they're still hustling, aren't they? They're still working so hard.
They won't give up, these boys. Plenty of endeavour. Again, Scott's just walking the ball up the floor.
Yeah, well, the shot clock is their friend now. 6.5 to play with a 10-point lead.
Yeah.
You don't want to stop your offense, but that's pretty good, isn't it? Off the bench, and a hot hand from Nickel.
It's a term I use quite often, saying hero or villain, and your player coming in off the bench and shooting the 3 is a hero on that occasion.
Oh, especially reasonably early in the clock.
Yeah. Nice drive.
Just those 2 baskets, that might be enough now with 6 minutes to play to just ensure that this gutsy, determined Mana outfit will be held at bay.
Whoa.
He's losing his feet there for a moment. No foul called. It was Tamori Pofare.
Yeah, 0.6 seconds on the shot clock. It's going to be interesting to see what Mana have got to run from a bob or a baseline out of bounds play. As we've picked up, they do favour that 3-point shot. It's a pop, a little curl action there.
Had the open look. Now they go again. Well, they got the shot they wanted, I reckon.
Yeah. Let him get momentum, he's going to hurt you.
Good hustle, good D from Fermanis as Capado drove to the baseline, then looked to kick it out.
One more.
Nickel, who drained that triple earlier.
Yeah. 10 on the shot clock with the handoff. No catch and shoot. He's going to the rim.
In the end, good shot clock management, and they got a good look, but just rimmed out. Clayton intercepting. And Scots go upstairs and slamming it home as Stallworth. Off the front of the rim, and Mana. Has their resistance been broken? Goodness me, that is a highlight play. Absolutely stunning. The athleticism there of Tafara Gapare. And that will hurt Mana. That will take the sting out of any team. Wow. The elevation from that young man.
Yeah. He gets out in the open court and then can just build that momentum up. And the two of them are hunting well up the top there and just creating, you know, turnover opportunities and transition game. And again, it's just been like a little arm wrestle, hasn't it? You know, you go on a 6-point run and then I'll come back at you. Scots really are most probably going to have to look at some stage of rotating their two leaders of their team out with 5 minutes to go, because I think there's 19-point margin. You know, if Mana get up from here, it'll be most probably the performance of the tournament.
Well, it might be the performance of schools basketball, full stop, because it is now a bit of a mountain to climb. We don't have live stats with us, but I think 19 is about as big as that lead has been the whole way through this one. Of course, another one we're going to bring you live this morning at 11 a.m. It is the host team, St. John's College, up against New Plymouth. Looking forward to seeing St. John's for the first time. Clearly coming out of this pool, they are the form team. So got a pretty good roster at the moment, and we'll be hoping they can win the whole tournament, of course, on their home floor, but we'll see them in action at 11 o'clock this morning, and then those semi-finals at 5 and 7 this evening.
It's too easy.
Well played out of the timeout.
Yep, well executed by Mana.
Players having run the play that the coach laid out for them. Scots will be in no hurry here now. I want better execution than that, though. That was not the most accurate pass from Gapare, and the three ball is good. They continue to fight. This really is superb from Mana.
Yeah, and just turned around and said, what lead? They've just taken 5 points off it in 2 possessions.
And importantly, in about 30 seconds. The three ball comes up short. Here they come, Mana. They're not done yet, you know. Levi Ware all the way to the hoop, kicks it out. It's a long 2, and it falls. Shooter's roll at last.
7-point run.
It's one thing to just take the pace out of your offense and run the shot clock down, but you've still got to execute. Scots can't go into their shell here.
Nice catch.
Nickel, catch, turn, shoot. Here they come again, Mana. 3 stops in a row. Can they make 3 buckets in a row? No, wonderful D. Gee, Nickel, what energy that was. He's got one on the side of the face here. Let's hope he's okay. That's just a willing defense. Foul is called on Kawhuru Hippolyte, I think it is, his second personal. And Nickel's up and okay. Did look like he just copped an accidental arm on the side of the head.
And quick turnaround since that timeout, hasn't it?
Just a little.
I just think for Mana, if they really want to go at this, they're going to have to extend that defensive pressure. They can't afford to sit back in their half-court D.
He's been good off the bench, good energy. Troy Nickel, he heads back to the bench now, but he's been good value for Kenny McFadden. And Mana, they do need to pick up quick baskets. 3 ball too long. Parde initially, I think, had thoughts of getting up above that rim again there, but defence put the wall up, and the 3 from the corner. Oh, that's a dagger, isn't it? Russome Cobb.
Yeah, real momentum shifter.
Mana got the response, no. And Scots have the rebound. And the quick baskets. I think Kenny McFadden, had that not dropped, I think he might have been asking some questions. Good hustle, Russome Cobb. He's just slid over the sideline though. But the exuberance of youth. You got 2 minutes 50 on the clock. You're leading by about 13, and you're trying to run a quick play.
It's going to take me an hour to warm up to be able to do any sliding. That's probably Andrew, but lots of endeavour and energy from Mana.
Nice finish again. $16-point margin, 2.5 to play. Stallworth trying to get to the rim. Clayton, look at the reach, look at the advantage. The finish eventually, what do they have? 3, 4 offensive rebounds in there?
He's just come in and just worked hard for Scots.
Manis can't connect on the 3. It's a backcourt violation, surely it is. So good hustle, good D from Fermanis. There's a lot to like about this Mana team. There really is.
No fear. They just come and they play.
And they're playing hard for each other, for their coach, for their team. There's 0% give up in this team.
Nice,
lovely finish, beautiful. For the Hippolytes. Timeout. Kenny McFadden wants a word. I think just to get the message across to his team here, and maybe just physically to give them a breather, but that's just to say, hey fellas, this is where we learn as young basketballers, as young men. This is where we learn to just let the clock be our friend.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Kenny's going to advance the ball in the last 2 minutes. They might take time off the shot clock, but it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do. And as you say, is just defensively find your assignment. You know, take away the quick 3, make it a half-court game, and don't get drawn into the up and down shootout, which is the way Mana, I should say. Mana have done a very good job in playing that up-tempo style of basketball.
I just, while you were talking, Corbs, I just happened to glance across at Kenny, and the sentence I heard was, "We don't have to rush." So he's just making that point, and it's good coaching. It's good coaching. They've got to learn themselves out on the floor. But hey, take this opportunity going into the semis this afternoon. Take this opportunity now. It's a learning experience right in this moment. Hey guys, look at the scoreboard. Look at the clock. What are you going to do? Are you going to rush your offense? Are you going to drive the lane, or are you going to, get set and go through a play and use up 20 seconds on the shot clock? The answer's obvious, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's not.
Yep.
So,
Scots are advancing the ball, so we're taking down to a 14-second shot clock.
It's amazing, isn't it? The young talent in both the boys and the girls game in New Zealand, the strength of the game at the moment, Corbs. It just, I mean, you must delight in your virtual day-to-day involvement in the game. The sport is absolutely on the up and up.
Look, it's massive. I mean, Waikato Basketball as an association is experiencing massive growth in primary intermediate sport, which is now obviously flowing into secondary school level. The game's just getting bigger and bigger, and I think if all the associations have a work on, it's referee training and referee development. While the game's getting bigger with participation numbers for players, we need to really be lifting the ante with our development and support for refereeing.
Hustle there, they're not giving up, as I say, and fully entitled there to stop the easy dunk. Levi Ware, he said to Gapare, you're not going upstairs.
Yeah,
He
a
said,
little
go and earn it.
unfortunate, called the unsportsmanlike with the wrap. So lots of free throws and possession back.
As a coach, though, you like that, don't you? I mean, you know, these guys just don't have any give up in them.
No.
They are competing. It's perhaps just across the line there in terms of the intentional foul, but you'd rather have that as a coach than players lying down and not trying.
Yeah, youthful enthusiasm would be the term I'd use. These boys, they just want to play. They're excited to be here, excited to be playing basketball, and they, you know, they weren't going to give up an easy basket. There's no injury intent there, which was the pleasing aspect of it.
And played in great spirit. Great spirit. It's been a very willing encounter, but great spirit. Gapare, does he ice this? No.
Transition opportunity again.
Levi Ware. Samanis was trailing, but Ware into the corner now.
Driven him up high.
Clayton has taken a... Oh, I thought Clayton took a touch there and forced it back over the half court, but it's ruled that Mana took possession over.
Again, we're just running a little isolation play for our guard to get the on ball, which he's rejected. Nice spin move and the finish. That's good basketball.
And I tell you what as well, the shot clock wasn't reset there, but the bench were aware of it. But Scots College, they just looked at the shot clock and played the seconds that were ticking down. So well played. Salmon with a good basket again. He's been one of the most impressive for Mana.
I think so. His work ethic. Coaches like players that work hard. That's a forte that young man's got.
And that does ice it. That is pretty indeed from Ahmed Isahate. And this one is now done, bar the final moments. And a nice three in response from Jared Fermanis. They want the last say, but it will be Scots who will get the ball over the half court. And just to wrap up a very impressive performance in the end. It's been a willing encounter, hard fought, but in the right spirit. And Scots College are going to take it out and book themselves a place in the semi-finals a little bit later today, as it's handshakes all round. 95-79, Scots College take it over Mana. And Anthony Corbin alongside. It's a pretty good way to start a Thursday. Well played, Scots, but Tamana contributed as well to a very entertaining match.
Yeah, they should. They should at Andrew. I mean, you know, Mana's game was about energy, enthusiasm. They got out, they pushed the ball on misses. You know, the shooters came out hot at the start of the game, and they really drew Scots into that up and down, up-tempo style of basketball. Scott's defensive pressure, once they extended it from the half court to full court, they started to wear those Mana guards down, and mid sort of third quarter really took control of this game. A lot of skill, a lot of energy, and at this stage I'm just going to pass over to Andrew to review the game with Mana and Scots.
Well, Levi, unlucky in terms of the result, but a lot of credit to your team for the courage and the commitment. You boys kept playing the whole way through. Pretty tight unit, yeah?
Yeah. Pretty... I don't know what to say.
It's a tough loss for you, but tell me about just the chance to be here playing some ball after what's been a really tough year.
Oh, yeah. No, it's been good. We played all these teams before. The losses were... The difference between numbers were way bigger. You know, it's all gone down. We lost by like 60 or something to Scots at the start of the year, and it's just gone way down, so we're happy with that.
And tell me about you and your game. What have you been able to work on this year, and where have been the improvements in your game? You've already been in some tournament teams and had some great results personally, but what have you been working on?
My three-point shooting. I've been trying to get that knocked down, and yeah, pretty good result so far. gotten better.
Hard luck in this one, but well done to the boys on great courage, great fight.
Thank you. Yeah.
And that's great, great interview. And now we'll throw back to Andrew, who's got one of the Scots College players with him. They're just getting ready. Obviously, the players are in a warm-down scenario.
Ahmed, well done. That was a must-win game for the semi-finals. Tell me about the way it went for you boys. Are you happy?
I think we could have played better. On the defensive end, we started slow. We had a big game against St. John's last night. It was taxing. So we came into this drowsy early game, but we got back into it in the second quarter and we brought it back, played well.
Did it take a little while for you guys to break down their zone early on? Did it take a little while to figure out what your approach should be?
Most teams we play zone, so we're used to it, but the way they adjusted off the middle screen, they were helping off of it, so we got a lot of open shots on the 45, so it was good. But we realized it late, I think. We realized it in the second quarter. Should have made the adjustment in the first, but we got back and we played well, I think.
And same question that I asked Levi, just how cool is this just to be playing some ball? I mean, it's been a crazy year. When you guys found out there was a tournament that you were going to be, traveling, I mean, how cool is this just to be out here on the floor?
It's definitely a privilege. From the year that we've had, there are a lot of teams, especially in Auckland, they don't get a tournament or anything, haven't even had a season. So to do anything, even though it's a small tournament, it's just a privilege, and I'm happy to play.
Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations, and we'll see you in the semis a little bit later today. So that wraps it up here from our first game this morning, and another one still to come at 11 o'clock when the home team, St. John's, and of course they've been such an impressive team already in this competition as they take on New Plymouth. But that's a very impressive performance by Scots, and I think they're improving as they go through the tournament. They'll be a real threat in the semi-finals, and maybe with an eye on tomorrow morning's final. Our next game, though, tips off at 11 o'clock. Stay with us on Sky Sport Next for the next one here from St. John's in Hamilton.